Away from that is the sad story in Borno State, where the collapse of a major dam on Tuesday caused some of the state's worst flooding since the same dam collapsed 30 years ago, prompting many residents to flee their homes. About 30 persons have so far lost their lives and over 1 million displaced. The state government says the dam was at its capacity due to unusually high rains. The current flooding comes nearly 2 years after Nigeria's worst flooding in a decade, which killed more than 600 people across the country. Governor Babagana Zulum was on TVC News at 10 p.m. News on Saturday, where he walked us through the devastation.
Borno State, because I can say almost about 40% of the total landmass of Maiduguri Metropolitan Council and general local government areas of the states were affected by the floods. Affected because most of them couldn't have access to food and non-food items within the last few days. You can see the level of devastation. The rescue mission has also become something very difficult. At some instances, we decided to use swamp boogie and others in order to rescue people. So what we did within the last few days, basically, is to rescue the lives of the people. And we have set up some camps in order to address the situation.
All right, to bring us to speed on what the government of Borno State is doing to provide succor to the affected communities, we have the Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Usman Tar, live from Maiduguri. Thank you for joining us, Usman Tar.
Thank you very much.
Now, we've seen the fallout of the breakout of the dam, and we've recorded over 30 persons missing so far. I've seen 1 million people are said to be displaced. This is a state that has been ravaging or battling with Boko Haram since 2009. And to add to this is this natural disaster. How are you handling this situation with over 1 million people displaced?
Thank you very much. We have been handling the evacuation site of the disaster, but also the management of the disaster in terms of providing succor to the people. So far, we have established 32 camps where people are free to join, people who are displaced. And associated with that, we provide food and cash palliative to all the affected persons who are in the camps. We have also received donations in cash and in kind from individuals and organizations. Some of them provision of food, both fresh food and also cooked food, but also processed food and also grains. We also receive cash donations. So there is a committee, a high-level committee on the coordination and management of the disaster, and that committee has been working 24/7. And we have also established a situation room and hotline where people who are in distress call and they are rescued. We have received 16 boats from the Nigerian Army, and those boats have been deployed. The Lagos State government has sent 60 boats. Adamawa State government sent 6 boats. All these assets are in use. In addition to the boats, we also have high-level lorries, articulated vehicles that can enter into rough terrains in order to rescue people. So far, over 90% of the people have been rescued, and we are still working on salvaging the rest, receiving the rest.
Our reactions, we're always good in, this reaction to emergencies and everything. But I remember, NIMET, some other agencies, they foresaw this. They saw this coming. They warned. We saw their media campaign that they were all around the country telling state governors that, look, these are measures you should take, you should put in place. What are those measures that Borno State government put in place to, to alleviate the sufferings on ground right now? Because you wouldn't have recorded 1 million people displaced and 30 people, but if we are still to estimate, I know it will be more than that. What did you do? What did your government do?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did your government do as a government, to make sure the prediction that, look, this year it's going to be very, very, in terms of flooding, flooding?
Thank you very much. We, as soon as we receive the alert, alert from the relevant agencies, there was a flood committee that is a standing committee of the state government. The flood committee has gone around to do the needful, not only in Alau Dam, but also other areas where flood were prone. It so happened that this year the rain overwhelmed us. That is number one. Number two, the facility itself is a federal government facility. The Borno State government only contributed in terms of maintenance, minor maintenance. Major maintenance, the cost runs to billions, is beyond the capacity of the Borno State government. And we learned that the Federal Ministry of Water Resources will now put its act together in order to do the turnaround maintenance, desilting. We learned that the dam is operating below 50% capacity because of sediments and silt that have deposited over the past 50 years. So we are dealing with the federal asset in terms of the dam. We have done our best as a state, as a subnational entity, in order to do the maintenance that we can. But with regards to the overall prediction for flooding, we have done our best. We have deployed the ecological fund in order to, across the state, we have deployed the ecological fund in order to provide the necessary support and necessary intervention across the state. Borno is a rural state, agrarian state, where we have so many flood-prone areas, and we have worked around the clock to do that. The Alau Dam is just one of several flood-prone spaces across the state, and we have done our best as a subnational entity. But as I said earlier, it's a federal asset, and the federal government has promised to look into it.
So how soon do you intend to evacuate the flood? Because do you have enough drainage, drainage across the state, enough facility to be able to evacuate the flood?
Yes, we have. We have, over the years, we have procured equipment for drainage, but for this particular disaster, several MDS have provided support. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has promised to give us enough machines for drainage. With regards to the draining, areas, we have identified the space, areas where the waters will be drained out of the city. We have two rivers in Maiduguri. The rivers have started receding. In fact, they have receded significantly. So we shall channel the stagnant waters into those two rivers, Ngadabul and Ngadasilem. These are the two rivers that run across Maiduguri, and the stagnant waters will be channeled into those two rivers. So far, so good.
This will no doubt affect, the farming timetable and affect farmers, because all their crops and the arable lands would have been submerged by now. What are you really doing to actually help these farmers out so that they will not suffer the brunt? They would have lost a lot of to this flood.
Most of the rural areas, because of our intervention, are not really affected by the flood. And one of the reasons why the flooding happened in Maiduguri was because people built on waterways. In the rural areas, we don't have such problem, and the waters have found their way naturally. So the farmers are not that trapped, but however, some farmlands were destroyed, but the farmers are okay, and we still expect a very high agricultural yield this year in the rural areas.
So ultimately, when we look at the number of people affected and the fatalities we have you been able to put it together to give us an update?
Well, we have established a dashboard, and we have deployed personnel to go out and look for the data. The data is still counting. For instance, the dead bodies, we still have not finished counting. There are some dead bodies that are trapped under bridges, and some, unless the water recedes 100%, and the water body reveals its victims, we cannot tell. But for now, about 30 that you mentioned earlier is what we are able to establish. But it is still counting. It could be more.
Now, the IDP camps, we learned that they are overwhelmed already. And, what are you doing to ameliorate the sufferings there?
Well, we are providing, for now, for the IDPs, we are providing food and non-food palliatives. The governor has gone around all the camps and provided psychosocial support, provided, cajoled them. Thereafter, the government deployed teams to go around and distribute cash palliatives of 10,000 naira to each victim. And going forward, more cash palliatives will be provided, and also the people will be given food, grains, garments, and so on, in order to go back and establish their lives. We anticipate that the entire IDP situation, displacement situation, will last for not more than 2 weeks. The water will receive almost 100% in the next 14 days, and people will be provided the support to go and clean up and rebuild their houses. A committee has been established to do a rapid assessment of all the homes that were destroyed by the flood. Based on the outcome of the rapid assessment, each household will be provided a fair amount of money to go and do their rebuilding and clean up. However, the fumigation and other structural dimensions of the post-flood will be provided by the government. But the construction of unit houses, those ones, the households will take care of them. Heads of households will be provided with the money to go back and rebuild their lives. Women too will be provided resources to go back and build their lives. So the entire displacement scenario, based on our assessment, is about 2 weeks, after which we hope that people will go back to their homes.
The Commissioner for Information and Internal Security in Borno State, Usman Taha, I want to thank you for your contribution, and we want to commiserate with the people of Borno State, and we pray that we are not going to experience something like this again, and may God grant the repose of the soul of the departed as a result of this accident, the collapse of a major dam. I want to say commiserate with His Excellency to Governor Babagana Zulum. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner, for your contributions today.
Thank you very much.
We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll be right back after this time out. Please don't go away. It's still